on my way.
Hey, it's Camo. Welcome to Nashville Meets World, presented by our friends here at Solace North Gulch Apartments. Guest today has a hat. I didn't wear a hat because I look silly in one, but he doesn't. Wynn Williams. How you
That's
doing?
right. Good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
You bet.
I'm hearing good things.
Well, that's good.
Where are you from originally?
Yeah, I grew up in Weatherford, Texas.
Yeah, Texas boy. Okay.
Yeah, man.
I live in where W is? Oh, no, that's Crawford.
That's Crawford, Texas. Yeah, down by I think Waco, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I grew up right outside the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Live in Fort Worth now, and you know, making our way across the country and across the state, across the region, playing shows. And
I love the music that comes out of Texas because it's like its own little country.
Yeah.
And it does what it wants, and you know, you've got everything from the really traditional. I mean, I had the Quavy sisters on the show, and that's a niche of Western swing, which is a niche. But there's just such great music that comes out of Texas, and people that don't know about Texas music only hear the big names like Cody and people like that.
Sure.
Where are you fitting in with that?
I'm one of the young guys in the scene. I just put out my first full-length album, so it's kind of like our first, our first splash into the Texas music scene, what they call it.
Yeah.
And I've been at it for a little while. I went to Weatherford College for a couple of years on a rodeo scholarship, and then I transferred to Texas A&M, where I pursued a degree in communication. And graduated in 2016, 2017, put out a 6-song EP. And since then it was, kind of doing the rolling around from small town to small town, bring your own sound, play 3-hour show here and there. And back in in September of 2018 is whenever we started to put some real dates together and really start touring heavily. So nice. It's been good.
I got to go back to the rodeo. What did you compete in?
I was a steer wrestler.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's where they jump off the horse, wrestle the steer. Yeah.
That's tough because that start has got to be timed perfectly, even a fraction of a second, and disqualified.
Exactly.
Man, that's a tough gig.
Yeah.
Not that music's any less tough.
Yeah, I found that rodeo and music are pretty similar in terms of the lifestyle. You don't, I'm not blowing out my knee anymore, but it's similar in terms of always being somewhere new, and you work all this time to have your 5 seconds of fame, really, because whenever you're steer wrestling, you got to be like 3-4 seconds. And you practice all this time, make that happen. Now we're playing 60, 90 minutes a night on the stage, but there's a whole team behind everything that happens.
It's probably the mental toughness that you need for the music business as opposed to the physical toughness, because this business can be cruel and brutal.
Oh yeah.
Not unlike rodeo.
Yeah. The brutality thing is definitely on par.
Yeah. Yeah, boy, it's a tough gig. And even, I think probably more so today because there's so many places you can get music.
Right.
And it's like, how do you find that one tree in this huge forest that you like?
Yeah, it's tough to navigate that for sure, especially. Everything's so accessible these days. Anybody can put out music, and you just kind of do what you do, and you hope that people gravitate towards that.
Who are some of the guys growing up in Texas on the radio that you really kind of thought, I want to do that?
I grew up listening to the first person I was really exposed to was whenever I was in elementary school. My grandma would pick me up from school while my parents were still working, and John Denver was the first kind of like
Really?
real person I remember listening to. And then as I got older, listening to like Strait and Alan Jackson and Brooks and Dunn and Dwight Yoakam, those kind of artists are really kind of the ones that stuck with me.
The real three chords and the truth. Guys.
Yeah, exactly.
And that fits in so well with Texas.
Sure.
And now it seems like Texas music is being exported a lot more. Cody Johnson with a record deal. Who else? Cody Jinks.
Mm-hmm.
All those guys. Kyle Park.
Yeah. It seems like there's a little more of a
Aaron Watson.
A nationwide appeal nowadays. We've been able to kind of break out of that little mold there, which is good.
And those guys are going overseas and they're doing the UK and Europe and they're huge. When I lived in England like 10 years ago, that was still the point where the labels would release an artist here in the US and then you'd have to wait a week or two to get their music over there.
Mm-hmm. And
that was where the Texas artists started kind of breaking through because people were wanting to get George Strait and Alan Jackson, but they had to wait. So here's Aaron Watson. Man, he's just like Strait, and that broke Texas music there. I think that's a way because they were accessible. They didn't have to wait for music.
Right.
It was great.
Yeah. There's a huge scene and a huge appreciation for country music in Europe, which you really wouldn't think of. Well, just for the normal consumer, you don't think that a European would enjoy.
Yeah, well, it's grown so much over there, especially in the last 10 years.
Yeah,
the big festivals there now, and they're regular and they sell out, and they're just incredible.
Right.
Yeah. So tell us about your music. Let's get a little more specific about your sound.
Yeah, well, growing up in that 90s country era, you definitely hear a lot of those influences in this record that we just put out, I guess a couple Fridays ago now.
What's the name of the record?
It's a self-titled album, and I went with self-titled because it's kind of like, here we are, we have arrived, if you will. But there's a lot of those influences in there from that 90s country era, but there's also, on this particular project, I said, man, I'd really love to have something for every kind of country music fan on the project. So if you prefer like more of a Southern rock type feel or something like that, we have that for you. If you prefer something really, really traditional, kind of, Don Williams type thing, we have that too. So everything in between, that early 60s to now, we kind of covered that.
That's kind of neat because, have you been doing the dance halls and things like that?
Yeah.
And you have to do that because your job is essentially to fill the dance floor and sell beer.
Right.
That's your gig.
Right.
And so you have to be able to cover all of that stuff.
Oh yeah.
I think that's for the Texas artists coming out, they have much more versatility because coming up through that dance hall thing, you got to make everybody happy.
Sure, that's absolutely true.
And a big dance hall where there's only two couples on the dance floor, that's not doing your job.
Yeah, that's where mental toughness comes in for sure.
Yeah, it's like, what's going on here? Why can't we get these people going? You want to do a song?
Sure. What do you want to hear? Would you like to hear an upbeat thing?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. This is I'll play you the first song we wrote for the project.
Okay.
I wrote this with a gentleman named Roger Brown who has become a very good friend of mine and actually produced the project. It's called Man, What a Woman. I can see, look in her eyes, says she's in me. But I can tell she doesn't want anybody else. This is magical, we're so completely compatible. face. Oh man, what a woman. She's something special. Looks like an angel, loves like a devil. She's got me and I never saw it coming. She's got it working. Man, what a woman. Man, what a woman. I'm a lucky man. Why she chose me, I don't understand. How I get it right. This love that we share comes once in a lifetime. Man, what a woman. She's something special. Looks like an angel, loves like a devil. She's got me and I never saw it coming. She's got it working. Man, what a woman. Man, what a woman. No, I'll never, ever go. And every night and day I'm gonna make sure that I tell her so. Oh man, what a woman. She's something special. Looks like an angel, loves like a devil. She's got me and I never saw it coming. She's got it working. Man, what a woman. Man, what a woman. Man, what a woman. Man, what a woman. She's something special. Yeah,
That's good.
there you go. Thank you very
Good
much.
song.
Hey, this is Rhonda Funk, live for Nashville Meets World. I am in the Dalles, Oregon. I left Nashville last week to hit the road for a new tour for my new album and just to get back home and see family. I am actually from the Pacific Northwest. I grew up in Washington State and lived in Oregon for 20 years, and that's where I moved from to Nashville. I was from Sisters, Oregon, but right now I'm in the Dalles, Oregon on the beautiful Columbia River Gorge, staying in Hood River, which is amazing. It's right on the Columbia, so if you've never been here to this part of the U.S., the Columbia River runs, and on one side you're standing on Washington State, and the next side you're on Oregon. It's just like that, right down the middle. And so I got here yesterday, staying with some amazing friends. Today was a ton of fun, actually. I was live on Y102 Radio in the Dalles. It's a country station here. Stan Farger has me on every time I come home. He's been featuring me actually for over a year now on Pacific Northwest Songwriter Series. And so they've kind of been featuring women in country and then this whole just Northwest Songwriter Series, which has been really an honor actually to be featured on that. They're spinning my songs on a regular basis, so this is one of those places that I actually get continual record play on, which has been really amazing as an independent artist. That's how I started out here in Nashville. When I first got there, I'd had 4 independent projects, and now I have a label I just signed on January 1st, and we're just getting out there seeing what we can do. And so I am traveling all over the U.S. Starting here on the West Coast, I have like 35 dates, I think. Rhonda Funk Music / tour is where you can see those events. So tonight, I'm taking it easy, spending some time with some grandbabies, and just enjoying life and friends and people. But tomorrow, I'm at Bargeway Pub in the Dalles, Oregon, and then the next night I'm in Pendleton, which is a couple hours from here down the Columbia River, just a little bit farther. It's actually been raining really, really hard here and pouring. The highway got closed at one point, and I was worried if I was going to get there or not. But outside of that, that's just one of those little tiny obstacles. They come and they go, they ebb and they flow. And so I will be in Pendleton, Oregon on Thursday night. And then I head to Walla Walla, Washington, just to hang out with some family, try out a couple wineries maybe, and it's a really beautiful wine country. I haven't actually ever really been around Walla Walla very much, so I've driven through it and past passed it but never really hung out, so that I'm really excited about. Then I'm going to be up in Lake Chelan, Washington area. It's not the great season for it. It's a great vacation spot, a great big lake, beautiful area, but a friend has a cabin and a baby grand piano, and so for that I'm going to be sitting there. But I'll be in Spokane, Washington, interviewing on a radio station there with Tim Cotter, and then back to Oregon. The next couple weeks holds a lot of really great dates for me, so I'm going to see and experience some new people, new areas, Grants Pass, Oregon, State, Oregon. Then I'll be back to my home in Central Oregon. I play Bend, Oregon, and Sisters, Oregon, so it's going to be a ton of fun. I do try to go live a lot too. If you ever want to just jump in and see where I'm at, I try to show people. The other night I was at Sam Bond's garage in Eugene, Oregon. I kicked off my tour there, and when I walked in the door, there was about 30 people. Well, that's an exaggeration, but there was at least 20 people, harps, guitars, violins, and everything sitting in this big circle, and it was Irish music night, and they do it every Sunday night. Matter of fact, someone got up and he says, "We've been doing this for 30 years. That's my best Irish accent. That's all I got. Yeah, so they did that. It was the most amazing music to sit and listen to, actually. Completely beautiful. Sam Bond's Garage happens every Sunday night in Eugene, Oregon. So anyways, I'm getting to see stuff like that. You just gotta be out there to get it and experience it. So what a lot of fun. I just want to pop in here and share that with you. I promised Camo that as I was out here on the road, I would kind of let you know. And maybe I'll send some pictures and send some things that we can post. The most beautiful sunrise this morning I've ever seen. Got a new iPhone, and normally phones don't pick up the coloring the way that you want of a sunrise or sunset, and my phone captured it to the T. Amazing. So anyways, that's me. I'm Rhonda Funk. I'm live on the road right now with Nashville Meets World, and that's it. Thanks for coming along and being out here with me. Back to you, Camo.
Growing up and getting your start in Texas, were you just writing all by yourself, or did you get into the co-writing thing?
For the EP that we put out in 2017, I wrote a lot by myself. But with that song in particular, that was the start of whenever my co-writing relationship started to build. And honestly, I think I would rather write in a co-writing environment. Probably, firstly, because I don't think I'm a great writer alone, right?
He didn't really say that. He's an excellent writer.
But there's just something about having somebody else in the room to bounce ideas off of, and we can expand on ideas as well.
And you become more analytical of the song too, and instead of making you get everything kind of rhyming the same way, you mix it up.
Exactly.
Yeah, Nashville's a whole different beast. It's strange for a lot of people that come here because most places co-writing isn't as big as it is here.
Yeah.
And then they're thrown into this situation where they're essentially going into a room for a blind date.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to describe it for sure.
Yeah, but there have been so many great co-writing partners that wrote together all the time in country music. I think you're right. When you get 2 or 3 people, that's fine. But when you turn into Brett Akins and you've got 12, or Thomas Rhett, you've got 12, that's a little weird. That's very LA.
Yeah. I've never had 12 people on a song on a rap. It never happened. But
it's like who turned on the lights in the office? Okay, you're on. You're a co-writer. Yeah. So are you based in Nashville now, or are you still based in Texas?
Still in Texas, yeah. I live in Fort Worth, and we're touring all over the state of Texas, and then up into the Midwest. We did Chicago earlier last month for the PBR, which is something that we try to surround ourselves with like-minded organizations and individuals and stuff that works with our brand. So bull riding and rodeo.
From a commercial standpoint, it's you've got a captive audience. That's
of course
they're going to be your customer. Yeah, and that whole circuit going from Texas right up through the Midwest, up to the Canadian border. That's huge for the red dirt in Texas music. That's gold mining. That
Oh, yeah.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen an increase in demand for that.
Yeah. How, are you doing it alone a lot, or have you got your band with you?
Yeah, we're doing full band
band.
dates all the
Nice.
time. Yeah,
That's nice to be able to do.
yeah. I think last year we played both full band and solo stuff. It was somewhere like 85, 90 shows.
Yeah.
This year we're hoping to get a minimum of 100 shows, and just continue to build upon what we started last year. And then with the release of this project, hopefully, like I said, people gravitate towards what we're trying to do, and there's a little bit more of a demand for us to go play, up in the Colorado and Wyoming, and out towards the West Coast as well.
We had Corb Lund on the show.
He's awesome.
Yeah, and he says it's kind of strange because he's kind of alt country, cowboy. It's a strange mix of things. And he says he'll go and play New York City, and it's like a coffee house thing. And he's seen as kind of this experimental alternative artist. But then, he plays Alberta, Montana, Colorado, and it's like he's a cowboy.
And when he plays Alberta, he's probably playing like huge arenas. Yeah.
But it's just neat how they see the Texas artists in different places.
Right.
You don't see the Stetsons on Broadway in New York all that often.
Yeah.
So it's still
And when you do, it's like everybody's rubbernecking trying to figure out what's going on over there.
Is that a new trend I have to be aware of?
Yeah, Fashion Week.
Yeah, in LA, it's not rodeo, it's rodeo.
There you
go. What's been kind of the coolest gig you've had to do so far?
Oh, man. The coolest gig I've ever gotten to do was go to Europe, and play in Italy at a festival called the Fugate Country Festival. Yeah. But if we're talking about being in the U.S., I'd probably say the National Finals Rodeo in Vegas.
That is a blast.
Oh, yeah. Vegas turns cowboy for a week, and
I've been there for that. I went quite a while ago, 2009, I think I was there. And the whole city you don't see the limos. It's all pickup trucks with rear dualies.
It's great, man.
And horse trailers in all the casino parking lots. And, Did you actually play at the rodeo, or were you in the clubs?
So in 2017, we played at the Thomas and Mack Center, which is where they do the rodeo.
That's where the rodeo.
Yeah, so we did that 10 nights in a row, and then this past year we played at the Hard Rock, which is kind of like the last hurrah of the Hard Rock.
Yeah, what's happening with the Hard Rock?
They evidently sold to Virgin, so we got to have like one of the final shows in one of the rooms there at the Hard Rock with Gary Allen.
Nice.
So it was very cool.
That's cool. The NFR, for people that don't know, that's 10 days, 20,000 people every day. It's sold out. It's been sold out every year for 30 years. And there was talk for a while of it moving to Dallas.
They were toying with Dallas and Orlando, and it's Vegas. It's Vegas.
It's
You can't have it anywhere else, man.
Yeah,
for a long time it was in OKC.
Yeah, that's right.
Before they went to Vegas.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any other place on earth that has the infrastructure to to handle that many.
To be able to go to
cowboys and cowgirls.
Every different bar in every casino, and there's country on, and the rodeo's on closed circuit TV. Yeah. It's great. It really is great. And for an artist like you, that's just such a perfect fit.
Absolutely.
Is that like a gig you would just love to be doing for the rest of your career?
Yes and no. I think there's an element to being able to break it down a little bit every once in a while, and just kind of have fun. We'll do like 3-piece things where it's just me, my fiddle player, and my guitar player, and we'll just sit around and just have fun. Not that the full band shows aren't fun, right? Yeah. But sometimes it's like, man, you get to be in an environment where people are sitting there, they're listening to you. You can connect with them on a
Yeah.
different level. So I would love to do stuff like that for the rest of my life. But you know, with the occasional kind of relaxed thing too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do what Garth did when he started playing at Wynn's. See, that's a perfect fit for you.
I would think so too.
Wynn at Wynn's. And it was just him and his guitar and just having fun and telling stories. And
Yeah.
I don't think he ever finished a whole song because he would start the song and tell a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it right there.
Yeah.
Of course, the man has more money than he knows what to do with, so so he's got it made for sure.
But Straight's got a good gig too, playing
At the T-Mobile, yeah. He goes out there probably like 8 times a year and does that.
And you're seeing more and more of those kind of residences because Ryman does them now. A week of I think they just got done with Brandy Carlisle, and the artist is in residence for the week or just weekends for 8 weekends a year or something like that, and it's great. You don't have to tour. You just fly up and do the gig.
Yeah.
Fly home.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Speaking of awesome, you want to do another song?
Sure. Why don't since we're on the topic of
segue, wasn't it?
since we're on the topic of rodeo and stuff, we can. I'll play a song right here that kind of pays a little respect to that way of life. Whenever we ran for the new project, this is actually one of the last songs we wrote. And I said I want to write a cowboy song, but I don't want to write about a cowboy or from the cowboy's perspective. Mm-hmm. So we elected to write from the stock's perspective. In this case,
cool.
We chose to write a song about a bucking horse. Lo and behold, there was actually a bull, a famous bull owned by Jim Shoulders, which is one of the founders of PBR. And he had a bull named Tornado. And, it kind of, I don't know how we stumbled upon that, but it just worked out. But this song right here is called Tornado.
Sweet.
My name's not important, but they call me Tornado. I was raised on a beaten down ranch outside of Laredo. Many tried to break me, but I would never be broke. Left them nursing their pride, their heads hanging low. I got sideways with some cowboys around Casper. He was strong, he was stout, there ain't no doubt but I was faster. I've been under the lights on a few Saturday nights, and to tell you the truth, that's when I shine. I've been on the road for so long, thrown every cowboy that tried to hold on. All the money and the buckles turned my glory days gold. Now I'm growing old. They call me Tornado. 5-time horse of the year, I had a good run. The years and the fame flew by like yesterday's sun. Every man used to fear me when he drew my name. Those days are long gone, they fade away. I've been on the road for so long, thrown every cowboy that tried to hold on.
Yeah, there goes the string.
There goes a string, man.
At least it was near the end of the song.
That's right.
I got the opportunity when PBR was here in Nashville 1 year to go backstage and see the stock.
Mm-hmm.
And man, they are treated like royalty back there.
They are, man.
You know,
Yeah.
pampered, looking pretty,
Mm-hmm.
and then they get out. And,
Yeah.
I think that's the trick: is they lull you into submission. That's a pretty sedate bull. And you get on his back, and it's
Yeah.
a great sport.
It's amazing how, the genetics behind it all.
Yeah.
How much they pay attention to that kind of, pedigree
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So those bulls are, bred to do
They're
a
athletes.
job.
Yeah, they're athletes.
So it's very cool to, to see all that come together
Yeah.
for a production of that size.
I like rodeo and PBR because one of the things they always acknowledge is that the shows are all about family, and that includes the horses and the bulls and everything to the people.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about that aspect of genetics and breeding and family.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
If you haven't gone to rodeo, you owe yourself to go. It really is, or PBR. PBR it's Canada, the U.S., Brazil,
Australia.
and Australia. Yeah. And I remember reading a story about one of the PBR guys, one of the Americans. He said they were trying to figure out how all the Brazilian guys did so well.
Yeah.
And he said it's because they don't speak English. They have people that get them places and kind of make sure they're at events and help them get to wherever they want to go. All they think about is riding. That's it. And he said, I understood it when I went to Brazil, because they have kind of like they have a huge, I forget where it is, outside of Sao Paulo, I think. It's a huge rodeo, and NFR is 20,000 people for 10 nights. This is 90,000 people for 10 nights.
Yeah. There's actually an interesting documentary on like Netflix or something.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
And it shows all, the Brazilians, how they come in and really just
And he
take
said
it
he
over.
did better in Brazil because he didn't speak Portuguese.
Uh-huh.
So he had people getting him to places, and all he had to concentrate on was rodeo.
Yeah.
And it's a totally different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And those guys are rock stars.
Yeah,
Man.
they are.
Man. Do you miss that stuff at all?
I do.
Or do you still kind of do it in spare time?
I do miss, being at rodeos and competing and stuff like that. But I tell you, it's a lot easier on my body being on stage.
Yeah.
But like you were talking about, it's definitely a big family, a big family thing. No matter where you go, all across the country, you're going to see somebody that you know.
Yeah.
And everybody takes care of everybody. If somebody's horse gets loose or something, I mean, it's somebody's on top of it immediately. And
even competing, I've seen things where one guy's equipment has failed, so the guy he's competing against loans him the gear.
Or like one steer wrestler will go do his run, right, and then he'll come right back and haste for somebody else. Yeah. So it's great, and I found that music is very, very similar to that as well. There's like this friendly level of competition going on, but in the big scheme of things, everybody's just kind of
you're
part of the big family.
Your guitar breaks, then where you break a string, then somebody here take this.
Yeah. Do you think we can get a new guitar today? Does somebody want to take care of that for me?
Yeah, you'll have your people handle it. So it's time to play Asked and Answered.
Okay.
Bit of a break.
Right here in the cookie jar.
It used to be Nana's cookie jar, and then we emptied what was left of Nana out. So we put the questions in. These are questions from our viewers around the world.
Okay.
So just pick one and read it out for us.
This says, "Are you left or right-handed?"
Oh, we just
from
did that
Nikki in England. Oh, should we pick another one?
Yeah, let's do another one.
Let's do another one. I'm right-handed, by the way.
Okay. That never happens. Well, it does once in a while.
This one says, "If you had to describe your band yourself with the name of a drink, What drink would it be? Oh boy. I don't drink that much, so I'm probably not familiar with all of the drinks. Shoot. A margarita, I would say.
Yeah.
Margaritas are like a great go-to.
Yeah.
They taste great.
Yes.
And we sound great.
And the more margaritas you have,
the more margaritas you have, the better we sound.
Yeah.
You know, and tequila is kind of one of those things that you like. You don't always necessarily want to get into, but you do, and you're glad you did.
Yeah, that's right.
Until the next morning. Then,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So,
One
man,
tequila,
what was I
three
thinking?
tequila, 3 tequila, 4. That was from Shireen in New York. So thanks, Shireen. If you have a question you want unasked and answered, just send us a private message and we'll put it in Nana's cookie jar. Final question for the show today. Wynn Williams is about to go out on his first international headlining tour.
That's right.
Who is your support act?
It can be anybody.
Anybody you want.
Boy. That is I've never gotten this question before. Who would be a good one? Do they have to be country?
It could be anything. Anybody. Who would be the perfect opener for you?
That is a really tough question. I don't know. I think I'd probably switch it up with like a different genre.
Cool.
I'm a big fan of like the Michael Bublé kind of music.
Yeah.
So would it be the best fit for the show? I don't know.
You can do whatever you want.
But I love that kind of music.
Yeah.
I was in choir in high school, so I was kind of like exposed to like Frank Sinatra and that kind of stuff. So I'm a big fan of Michael Bublé, so maybe I'd take Michael with me.
That's right. That'd be a cool show, actually.
Yeah.
Love this swing.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he could get down with some country.
Yeah. Well, Blake recorded.
Home. Yeah. So there you go. Michael Bublé would be my touring mate.
That's right. Good. Michael, if you're up for opening for Wynn, send us a note. We'll connect you.
We'll open for you too, buddy. That you know.
And see, I'm Canadian, so he's Canadian too.
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
we're like this.
There we go.
That's the show today. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Check out Wynn Williams' self-titled album. The album isn't titled self-titled. It's just titled
Wynn Williams. Yes, sir.
There you go. Believe it or not, we get mail.
Yeah. It's available anywhere you listen to music. We have it on our website as well. If you'd like to get a CD, I will sign it myself and ship it to you.
Cool. Thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you very
Come back
much.
again sometime.
Absolutely.
Thanks for watching the show today. Make sure you catch me every Sunday at midday on Chris Country all across the UK, immediately following Kix Brooks and American Country Countdown. We'll see you next time.
Oh.